Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Abiodun Adelu. I'm a relationship and a personal development coach. If this is your first time on this channel, you are powerfully welcome. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and make sure that you like the video and put on the notification button to get notified when I post subsequent video. This next topic will be a series that we'll be looking at for a couple of videos, so I want you to stay around because it is an interesting one. We'll be talking about keeping conversations alive in a love relationship. Keeping conversations alive. What are the things that you need to talk about in a love relationship? In fact, such discussions will start from friendship. In fact, these are the things that will give you a clue whether you guys can work together or you won't really flow together. So these conversations, you can also practice it if you're not in a love relationship, but you have a friend that you are think maybe you feel like, okay, I feel that God is leading me to this person, or I feel like something can start from this. So these are the conversations and these are the topics and things that you need to begin to look at. Like I said, it will be in a series, and this will be the first video in that series. So what are the things you need to talk about in a relationship, or whether you are starting as a friend? What are the things that you need to talk about? But I'll be addressing it more from the perspective of those that are already in a love relationship. Number one, the most important thing that you need to talk about is your spiritual belief. What are the things that you believe about God? What are the things you believe about Trinity? What are the things you believe about prayers? What are the things you believe about worship? What do you believe about fellowship? What do you believe about different denominations? You know, especially if you both are from different denominations, then you may find out that you have different beliefs concerning your denominations. What are the things you believe concerning church involvement? Some people believe that I'm a member of the church. I really don't have time for any extra commitment in the church, but I love God and I am committed to a church. Some people believe that you can be very committed to a church and you attend all the weekly services. What are your beliefs about your church involvement? So the first thing you need to talk about is your spiritual belief. Number two, you need to talk about your purpose. Every human created has a purpose, and God has given you a purpose to live by on earth. And I believe that you must have known your purpose, or at least you are working in it, or you started developing yourself in it. So talk about your purpose and ask your partner about his or her purpose too. So find out how both of you complement each other. Like I earlier said in a video, you don't have to have the same purpose for you to feel like, okay, you are meant for each other. But your purpose will be complementary. So talk about your purpose. Okay, this is what I feel that God is leading me to do. This is the assignment that God has given me on this earth to perform. And then you guys begin to learn about each other's purpose and assignments. Number three, talk about your future. What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your desires? What are your aspirations for the future? Talk about it. What are the things that you feel like God is showing you that, okay, this is what I want to achieve in the next 5 years. This is what I want to achieve in the next 10 years. I plan to do this. I plan to do that. I have the plan to do this in the future. Talk about your inner desires, the things that you really want to do, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. Now, this is different from purpose. Purpose is what you are sent to do. Your vision is the ideal future that you desire in your heart. Talk about all these things. Number four, talk about your spiritual growth and your spiritual journey. Talk about your salvation experience, your journey in God, how you've come on this salvation experience. Talk about the things you are recently learning about spiritual things. Talk about the things you used to know that now you've known better. Talk about those things that God is helping you to achieve. Talk about those things that God is helping you to know. Talk about your spiritual journey. Talk about your spiritual experiences. Okay, I have this dream. I saw this vision. I saw this. I did this. Talk about your retreats. Talk about your personal altars. Talk about the things that you are learning, things that God is recently teaching you, and the things that you are learning concerning spiritual things. Number five, talk about your career aspirations. So what career option are you looking at? What kind of ideal place do you like to work in? What kind of industries are you looking at? What career are you looking at pursuing? And what informed that choice of career? Talk about these things. It will help you to begin to know each other and to begin to see how you can fit into each other's life. Number six, apart from talking about your career aspiration, talk about your personal goals too. Okay, I desire to achieve this. I desire to learn this. I desire to do this. Talk about the things you plan to achieve. Talk about the things you plan to have. Talk about the places you plan to visit. Talk about the things that you like to do apart from the professional goals. Talk about your personal goals. Okay, I plan to study up to PhD level. I plan to stop after my master's. I plan to build a career in this. I plan to start with this career and then switch to this career. Some of those things, just talk about them freely, and then you can begin to see, wow, okay, so you like to do this, you like to do that. And then you begin to see how you can also help each other. And sometimes you may also serve as a reminder to someone. Okay, this year you said that you plan to start a business. Okay, this year you said you plan to apply for a master's, and I've not seen you talk about it. What is going on? So talking about your personal goals also help you to monitor each other's progress and know how you can help each other. So part of your personal goals will also include maybe the books you are planning to read, the courses you are planning to take up, or the skills you are planning to acquire. So talk about those things too. And number 7, just similar to personal goals, talk about your personal development. Your personal development journey should be an interesting one. What are the things that you are currently learning? What are the things that you learned recently? What are the things that you are struggling with? What are the things that you are improving upon? Share with your partner your improvement history. Okay, I used to do this, I used to have this attitude, I used to have this character trait, and now I'm beginning to work on them. Okay, I used to have this weakness, I'm beginning to work on them. Talk about your personal development journeys. Talk about the things that you wish to improve upon. All those things will help you guys to know how to help each other. Number 8, talk about your values. Talk about your value and your priorities as it relates with money, as it relates with recreation, as it relates with family life, as it relates with work, as it relates with education. Talk about your values. Okay, my number 1 value is integrity. As a person, now I'm talking about myself. My number 1 value is integrity and honesty. So once those things are not in anyone, is a turn off for me. Then I have other values like discipline, excellence, godliness, courage, and all of those things. So talk about your values. Definitely, every positive thing should be our values, but there will be some that are like your primary values, which form your core value system, that for no reason will you compromise on those things. So talk about those things. I value this, I prioritize this. These are the things that I place premium and worth on. Talking about your values also has to do with talking about how you feel concerning work, your perspective concerning money, your perspective concerning education, your perspective concerning family, your perspective concerning different areas of life. It will also show your values. Number 9, you should talk about your church. See, some of these things look obvious because you are wondering, these are things that normally we'll talk about. You'll be surprised that many people don't know what to talk about. And many people are not even talking about important things. Like you ask somebody, what church is he going? Hey, he's going to one church like that. I've even forgotten the name of the church. And this is a person you want to marry. Don't you know that the person's church influences his or her way of thinking, his or her beliefs about spiritual things, about life in general? And don't you also know that this person's church will determine the church that you guys will be attending in the future? Even if you're a male and you feel like, okay, doesn't matter which church my wife is going, my wife will eventually go to my church. Have you guys talked about it? And is she willing or agreeing to come to your church? Also, what do you guys believe about God's leading with respect to the denomination that you are attending? Do you believe that this is the church I attend, and even when we get married, this is the church we attend? Or anywhere we change location? I've seen families that when they change location, they will look for their church, and that's exactly the branch of the church they will be attending. But for some other families, once they get to a new location, they will trust God to lead them into the right church to go to. So even if the church is not their formal church, as long as this is where God wants them to go. But for some families, by default, once you are going into a new location, you are going to the same church that you used to attend before, then you are going to their branch in town. Talk about those things. What are the things you are learning in church? Who is your pastor? Who is your HOD? Are you involved in any department? Are you involved in any unit? What is your level of involvement in spiritual stuff? Talk about those things. Number 10, talk about Bible topics. You can pick a topic in the Bible and begin to talk about it. It may be planned. You may have a plan for Bible study, or it could just be something at random. Okay, I was reading about this, and then James said this to John. Okay, I was reading about this, and then Saul and David, they had this encounter. What do you think about it? Have you read that place before? Share Bible stories. Talk about Bible topics. There are several ways to study the Bible. You can study by character. You can study by maybe by a topic. You can study by books. You can study by different things. So, for example, you can say, we want to study about faith. Okay, tell me about faith. What have you learned about faith so far? So, Bible topics are also wonderful topics that you need to talk about. Now, in a previous video, we talked about building friendship. And I said that conversations keep friendship alive. If you both don't talk, then there's no way to build this friendship. So all these things we're talking about, number one, they are helping you to strengthen your friendship. Number two, they are helping you to know about each other. Number three, they are helping you to know how to help each other. And then number four, they are helping you to further strengthen your conviction about whether this relationship will work or not. Many of these things can be worked upon, but some of them you really need to talk about it and ensure that both of you are on the same page. And you won't know what each other believe until you talk about these things. Now, it's not all of them that you really sit down and say, today I want us to talk about your faith. Tomorrow I want us to talk about your growth. There are things that you can start spontaneously. Oh, what do you think about this? Recently I was reading about this. Oh, let me tell you my goal for the year. Oh, let me share with you my career aspirations. Or you can even ask, what's your plan? You're currently working in a bank. Currently you are working in a school. What's your plan? Are you planning to build a career in teaching line, or you're planning to build a career in the banking industry? And then the person can tell you, I'm not planning to build a career in the banking industry. I just want to work for a few years and then I will move to another career. I will move to so career. Or the person can tell you that I really enjoy what I'm doing and I would like to build a career in it. So it doesn't have to start like on a serious, okay, we need to talk kind of thing. It can start spontaneously. It can start. In fact, you may be talking about something else and it will lead you to another topic, and before you know, you are really talking about that topic. But one thing is this: these matters, you need to talk about them. Like I said, they look obvious, but you'll be surprised that many people are not talking about these matters. So in our next video, we'll continue with this series. What are the things you need to talk about in a love relationship? Make sure that you like and subscribe, and make sure that you hit the notification button so that you can be notified when I post the next videos. Thank you.